Man, he is just crazy. All right.
He is not letting me get to him right now. All right, got him. There we go. Hey guys, I'm Zachary Gray, and today we're going to be on this back road looking for some animals. It has been raining a lot. It's really overcast right now, so we're really hoping to find some stuff in between the rain. And we've got these two ditches running right along the edge of this road, and stuff will come out along this road to sun. And even though it's not very sunny right now, stuff will also come out to catch frogs, because there's a lot of frogs out in the rain right now. So we're really hoping to find something right now. Let's go. Snake! There's a broad-banded. It's a broad-banded water snake. Come here, buddy. Look at that. That is a broad-banded water snake. Look at him. He is pretty. The first thing I noticed about him, he's got a little nub tail. That means something broke his tail off, or he spun it off because somebody grabbed him. Their tails will actually break off the very tips, but they don't grow back like a lizard's. So that little tail is going to stay a nub like that. Look at that. Now, I could tell that this was a broad-banded water snake by those little golden bands running all the way down it. And moccasins will actually look kind of similar as a baby. They have these little bands, but they look completely different than a broad-banded water snake. Look at that. Now, this one's actually pretty nice for a water snake. A lot of water snakes are pretty aggressive and they will bite and musk on you, but this one's not doing that at all. Look at that little tongue flick. Very cool. They have a very pretty face, little golden eyes, little golden face, very pretty little snake, and they get a lot bigger than this. This is a pretty small broad-banded water snake. Not necessarily a baby, but it's kind of like a little teenage water snake with how big he is. He's only about a foot long, and what I want to show you real quick is his belly. Look at that. He's got a red and yellowish checkered belly, and it is one of the prettiest things about this snake. I think these guys are amazing. I don't find too many. Normally I find a lot of yellow belly water snakes. That's probably the most common water snake I find. But these guys are pretty common in a lot of areas. Now they can be aggressive when you pick them up. Oftentimes they will bite, and oftentimes they will strike at you. But they are a non-venomous species. These guys are mostly fish and frog eaters. That's what they like to eat, is fish and frogs. And with all this rain that we're getting, we have a lot of little tree frogs and bronze frogs jumping around right now. So this guy is really hunting for something right now. Out on these little roads, at night especially, they'll get a lot of frogs in the rain. Look at him. He's perfectly calm, just crawling up, saying, all right, I don't mind this. He knows that I'm not going to hurt him, so he's just kind of slinking along. Very cool. Not all water snakes are very docile. Some of them can be docile, but most water snakes have a pretty bad disposition. That means a pretty bad attitude. But this little guy is very nice. Look at that. Wow, that is awesome. I think I've only caught one broad-banded before in my life, and I think it was about this size about 4 or 5 years ago. I was a lot younger, and hopefully I'll find some bigger ones one day, but that is very cool to see. All right, let's put this little guy back. Watch him take off into the water. Oop. There's a snake. It's a water snake. It's a green. It's a green water snake. Did you see that? He is trying to chomp me. It's all right, bud. Look at that. That is a green water snake right there. Now they are normally pretty aggressive. That's pretty typical for a green water snake. I just want to get my hand on his tail. I'm trying to keep from getting bit. They do give a bad bite, but they are non-venomous. As you can see, he is pretty defensive.
Man, he is just crazy. All right. All right.
He is not letting me get to him right now. All right, got him. There we go. So this is a green water snake. As you can tell, they are pretty defensive when you mess with them. He has been trying to bite me like crazy. As you can see, his mouth is open right there. Nothing like the broad-banded we just caught. He is very, very aggressive. He will come up over his own body and try to whack me. Now, as I mentioned, there is no danger with me doing this. This is a non-venomous snake, But if he does bite me, it will bleed a little bit, and it does hurt a bit, but it's not that bad. All right, so let me see if I can get him comfortable. All right, there we go. All right, I've got him in a spot where I can hold him now. He's still ready to bite me. He just doesn't realize. There we go. Now he's looking at the camera. That's perfect. They're really, really aware of movement, and that's why it's looking at the camera right now. The movement of the camera right now is look, he's staring right at the camera. He would be biting my hands right now if I moved him too much. Now, green water snakes, they're pretty easy to identify if you know how to identify snakes. They have this light green tinge to their color. And he almost got me right there. It's fine, buddy. So you can see he hasn't actually chilled out at all. This snake is still ready to bite me, still ready if I move. It's just handling him carefully and keeping from being bit. And if I do get bit, I really don't mind. It is a water snake. They are non-venomous. But I kind of try to practice not being bit by snakes, and I think that's what a lot of people should do. Now these guys, just like the other water snakes, are primarily frog and fish eaters. Woo! Did you see that? He is in my hand right now. I am completely in strike range right now. Now these guys actually will get a bump bigger than this, but this is a pretty decent sized green water snake. They're a really fat, stocky snake, and they have keeled scales. They have this little ridge running right down the side of their scale, and it's really cool. It's not like other snakes like king snakes and racer snakes. In fact, a few different species of snakes have keeled scales, like rattlesnakes and pretty much all water snakes. I'm not sure if 100%, but most water snakes have keeled scales. Green water snakes, diamondbacks, all of those I believe have keeled scales. And that gives them really good grip. He almost bit me right there. Yeah, I have a feeling he will bite me at some point, but I really don't care at this point. Just as long as he's relaxed and he's safe and I don't get tagged on the face. That's the only thing I have with this snake, is I don't want to get tagged on the face. It's all right, buddy. Now, green water snakes, they're a pretty large species of water snake, but diamondback water snakes get quite a bit bigger. And they live, you know, diamondback water snakes live in a pretty similar range, and they have a pretty similar color, but they have a completely different head shape and a completely different pattern. They have all these little diamond patterns, little ridged patterns, and these guys just kind of have this kind of dull green banding color. When they're smaller, you can see the bands much clearer, and the cleaner the water they live in, the cleaner their bands look and the prettier the snake looks. His belly, there we go. Now you can see that belly. They have a pretty cool belly pattern. Not as cool as the broad-banded, but it's still a very cool belly pattern. He is actually finally starting to chill out. He's mostly looking at the camera, and he will still bite me, but I'm just glad he's not being nearly as crazy. See, right now, he's starting to slither a little bit, and he is doing great. Super fat, stocky snake, and look at that eye. You have a big round pupil, and that's something completely different from a water moccasin, who have those big vertical pupils, and they don't have that diamond head like a moccasin. Moccasins have a big diamond head. However, if you agitate this snake enough, if I were to poke him and mess with him enough, he would start flattening out his head. And that's what they do to mimic venomous snakes, to make it look like they have venom glands in the side of their head, but they really don't. And they oftentimes get killed because people think that these guys are moccasins. And there's a couple of different ways to tell that these guys aren't moccasins. And for people that don't know anything about snakes, it does take a little bit of time to learn that, but it is very easy to tell, and it's definitely worth learning the difference between this snake and a venomous one. He is completely chilled out for us. You could see a minute ago he was just going ballistic when I first came up to him, striking at me every couple of seconds. And it only takes this, just a little while of handling for him to calm down. And he's still very aggressive though. If I were to wave my hand in his face, he would bite it. But I'm glad I've kept from being bit today. And I'm glad he has stayed happy. And now he is completely calm. He's like, okay, this guy's not gonna hurt me. And he is just, you know, he's very chill right now, just slinking along from one hand to the next. Very cool snake. Pretty common in some areas, but I've actually never found one. This is my first one, and very cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy, definitely leave a like, and I will see you guys next time.